Hi, I'm Lynn Bridgeford from the Aether Bios Clinic and Aether Bios Yoga, and today we're going to talk about the psoas muscle. Attaches to all 5 lumbar vertebrae in the disc on the front of the spine and goes through and attaches to the top of the hip bone. Very involved in low back pain and very involved in stress because the kidney sits on it. So get comfortable. We will do some exercises standing, sitting, laying for all levels of flexibility and capability. So if something doesn't suit you, just go forwards to the next one. It's not necessarily in degrees of difficulty. So join me to work with the psoas muscle to help your low back. Thank you. Standing with feet hip width apart, step back with one leg, and we're going to have the toe facing a little bit outwards towards the front of the mat, lengthen in the tailbone, reach that back leg away to square over the front leg, shoulders above the hips if possible, this leg bending no more than 90, you may not go that far, and just bend a little, reach, feel the stretch down through into the leg. Lengthen the tailbone, square over the leg. That doesn't give you anything, we can go wider and bend that leg, lengthen the tailbone, reach that leg away. If you want more out of it, reach the arms up, shoulders down. Only look up if it's comfortable and it doesn't hurt your neck. And breathe. On the other side, feet wide apart. Step back, find the distance you need, may not be very wide, or if you want more of a stretch, you can go wider, so find what works for you. Lengthen in the tailbone, reach that leg away, have the outside of the foot contacting the mat. This leg bent to 90, knee above the ankle, long spine, use the core, and breathe. If you want more, you can reach up, keeping the shoulders down. Remember, the breath is so important in stretching, but also the psoas muscles pass through the diaphragm. So if we've had a stress or a shock or holding tension in the diaphragm, that can affect the psoas. A slightly different version is to keep the heel lifted up at the back and keep the knee facing front, and just bend a little and find where you can be. If your balance is tricky, you can hold on to something. And we always do both sides. We may have an imbalance and the two sides may be slightly different. That's good to notice. We can do a similar stretch sitting either in a chair or on a ball. The advantage of the ball is you've got the rollability to take you forwards, whereas in a chair you just reach back. So you can either roll forwards or reach back with the leg, stretching down the front of the groin. That's where you'll feel the psoas. Keep the breath, remember to keep the diaphragm moving to release the psoas through the diaphragm. You can back off and straighten again. You can also turn the foot at a slight angle with a straight leg. Might give a little bit more of a stretch. Listen to your body. On the other side, rolling forwards or just reaching the leg back. Find where you feel that stretch. Keep a good posture with the shoulders above the hips, lengthening through the base of the spine. It's always good to have a good alignment, then we get a better stretchability. We can straighten the leg, face the toe forwards, and again you can gently find your way with the ball. Less flexible on a chair, but the principle is the same. A favourite pose for many benefits is the cat-cow. So coming on all fours, making a square, knees under the hips, hands under the shoulders, and have the neck nice and neutral, want the spine nice and straight, and then we're going to gently lengthen through the spine, lift the tailbone, lift the chest, lift the head. And as we breathe out, we curl the tailbone around, curl around the chest, curl the head down. And lift the tail on the inhale, lift the chest, lift the head. keeping length in the spine as we exhale. Curl the tail around, curl around the heart, curl the head down. And again, lift the tail, lift the chest, lift the head, and curl around the tail, curl around the chest, curl around the head. We're giving a nice gentle pumping action to the psoas muscle. We're going to go into a pose of a child. So a little wide with the legs, reach your arms forwards, bring the head down and relax. You can have a little wiggle. So we're taking a very slight relax and a lengthen in the low back. Tuck the toes under, and we're going to lift up into downward facing dog. The most important thing is the straight spine. Let the head relax. If you can, without losing the length in the spine, straighten the legs, and the next stage would be to bring the heels down. Lengthening through the spine, having that feeling of almost lifting the tailbone to the sky. You can have a little wiggle through the pose. Gets a nice stretch through the psoas muscle. Few deep breaths there. And come down and recover in pose of a child. We can get a similar action to cat-cow laying down. So I like to press my hands into the mat to lift through the spine and lengthen as you lay down. So make space in the vertebra and bring the feet up towards the bottom. Lift the tailbone just to lengthen in the spine. And the spine's kind of in neutral here, no effort. And then we're going to do a cat-cow. So we're going to lift the tail, lift the chest. We're not going to lift the head. And then we're going to curl the tail round and curl around. We're going to be more around the diaphragm than the chest. So we're only doing a part cat-cow. And relax down. So lift the tailbone, lengthen in the spine, lift the chest, and then lift the tail and curl around. And lift the tail up, lift up through the chest, and curl the tail in. In this case it's up, although it's opposite when we're on all fours, and come back to neutral. So we're giving almost a gentle milking movement on the attachments of those muscles. They attach to all the vertebrae and the discs in the lower spine. Very important to keep the psoas muscle happy. To stretch the psoas muscle further, we're going to do a bridge. So press the heels into the mat, keep the core, lift up through the tailbone, lift through the navel, and take the arch all the way through the spine. So the knees are above the ankles, so we have a little feeling of squeezing the knees together to free in the sacrum. Lifting up, lengthening all through the front of the body. Breathing. And lengthen and come down, lengthen through each vertebra. Hug one knee up and then the other. Lengthen the tailbone away from the shoulders. Always keeping length, bring the feet down. And we're going to go again, press the heels into the mat, keep the knees above the ankles, so we've got a little bit of pressure inwards to do that, activating the legs, bring the tailbone up, navel up, breathe to the top of the chest, and lengthen as you come down. It should feel lovely. If anything doesn't feel good, please don't do it. For a more extreme stretch, we're going to tuck the front leg in and take the other leg behind, so reach it away, bring the pelvis level, tuck the toe under, lift the knee up so we lengthen away, bring the knee down and point the toe behind you. So we're going to press up, lift up, have a gentle mobilize, wiggle, so we're lengthening through the spine, through the hip, remembering the psoas attaches to the hip bone, and keep that length as you come down. So you will feel a sweet stretch here, make sure it's not too much. To get a little further, we're going to walk the hands around to the opposite side, so we're giving an extra strength extra stretch on the psoas muscle, lifting in the chest, letting that leg reach away. Keeping the back nice and soft. And come back. Bringing the hands inside the leg. We're going to involve a little bit of the quadricep now, just to give a deeper stretch. If you can, bring the foot up towards you. Lift the chest, press this hand into the mat and draw the heel down towards the bottom. We're also stretching the quadricep muscle, which is also a hip flexor, and it helps intensify in a good way the stretch on the psoas. And release. Make sure that if you do this, it's comfortable. On the other side, tuck the front leg in, take the back leg behind you, tuck the toe under, lift the knee up so you're lengthening the front of the leg, lengthening in that psoas muscle, bring the knee down, point the toe behind. We're going to press the hands into the mat, lift up and have a gentle wiggle. This should be making space in the vertebra, space in the pelvis, space in the hips, and giving a little length to the psoas. Keep that length as you bring your hands down. Walk your hands around the front knee, keep the back leg straight. Lift and twist, intensifying the stretch on the psoas. If it's too much, don't go so far, or perhaps this exercise is not for you. There are many ways of stretching the psoas. And for more intense, involving the quadriceps, bring the hands inside the leg, bring that leg up behind you, press the front hand into the mat to lift up and twist, and bring the foot down towards the bottom. You may only go this far, just find where you can be and breathe. If your balance is good or you have something to hold on to, we can do a similar pose standing, where we start with the quadriceps, bend the foot up to the bottom, bring the knees together, lengthen that knee down towards the mat, push the foot into the hand and the hand into the foot, take the leg further away so we're involving the psoas, and we reach forward with the other hand, and we reach forward through the fingertips and reaching the foot into the hand. The secret to balance is partly focus, partly rooting the supporting leg into the floor, using the core muscles, but in this case it's keeping that stretch from fingertip to fingertip that helps us balance. So hold on to something if you need to. Taking the knee back, pushing the foot into the hand, taking the knee further back, reach forward with the front hand, and keep that dynamic stretch all the way through. Breathing is really important, especially as the psoas passes through the diaphragm. And stress affects the psoas, the adrenals sit on top of the psoas muscle and they move. Everything moves. So if we get restrictions, then we feel it in other parts of the body. The restrictions aren't always coming from where we feel them. So we need to just do some breathing. Let's just free the rib cage a little. Reach the arms up, shoulders down. And reach up nice and tall through one side and the other, reaching all the way from the butt bones up to the fingertips. So we're involving the psoas here in the stretch. Twist to the side, lift up on the inhale and gently rotate from vertebra to vertebra. This is also working on the psoas because it all attaches to the low back. Breathing well. Come back forwards. Reach up nice and tall. Shoulders down, reaching up fingertip to fingertip, all the way through the rib cage. Twist around to the side. Use the hands as a lever, lift up on the inhale and rotate from the base up to the spine, keeping the neck nice and soft. Making sure we do full breathing into the diaphragm. I have another video on Breathing 101 about breathing into the diaphragm, which is very beneficial for helping release the psoas, particularly after stress. Thank you so much. Please like, comment, subscribe. I'll be happy to interact with you if you have any questions or any comments. I'll be pleased to hear from you. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining me. I'm passionate about sharing my yoga journey and all the wonderful things that yoga has to offer for our life and our benefit. And I really look forward to sharing more with you and hope you join me more on my journey. Please like, subscribe, chat to me, ask me any questions, and connect with me on my other channels. There's YouTube, there's Instagram, there's LinkedIn, my Facebook page, my website. So thank you so much. That's Lynn Bridgeford, Aether Bios Yoga.